Okay, one idea that is kind of cool is to mess with the size of the font. Unfortunately, that's kind of obnoxious because here's your parent. You have inherited this thing called the font. The font is amazing, but basically, if you want to make a change to it, you're going to have to reconstruct it. Um, when you construct a font, it has to take in the name, the style, and then the size. So you kind of regenerate it. Um, you'll say, I want to make a new font with the same name, maybe the same style. What's the name of that thing? Style, not style, something. Hmm. Is it style? Consarn it. No, there it is. Get style. That's whether it's bold or italics or whatever. And then you could say, um, so that's a lot of code to write to make a new font. Um, maybe I should import fonts. Okay, really? You don't know what a font is? Come on. So you're going to create a new font with the same name, the same style, and then a slightly bigger size. Now don't forget, this is happening infinitely, so you probably don't want to let it happen forever because it's going to be a little intense. Right? Um, so don't do that. But you probably want it to maybe like grow and then shrink. Now, if you're trying to accomplish a growing and shrinking kind of business, you will need some type of helper to remember whether or not you are growing. Awesome. Every kid has a little trouble getting this going on. You need a little helper to help it out. And so, pro tip, where's my function? You can then say, okay, well, if I am growing, then I'll do one thing. If I'm not growing, there's only two options there, I'll do something else. Then you'll need to say, after you've said do your thing, either grow or don't grow, then you would have to have another if statement to say, well, if I'm basically too big or too small, then you want to change whatever your status is. And here's a pro tip. That will just flip your Boolean. So you want to grow or shrink, and then you want to decide whether or not you should kind of change that around. And that would help you do growing versus shrinking, and it could kind of do its business, which would be amazing. Another really cool thing, in my opinion, of course, you could do directions, you could do bouncing, you could have X velocity and a Y velocity and have it bounce off every wall. I mean, you get creative. Show me something amazing. But another cool thing you can do is kind of have it hover. Let me show you a hovering um, idea. Okay, so this is a little hover action, and it kind of is like almost floating or something like this. And basically, all this is physics. So if you love physics, piece of cake. What I have going on to make this look kind of convincing is it's got a velocity and an acceleration. So basically, gravity's pulling it down, and then gravity starts pulling it up, and then gravity starts pulling it down, and then gravity starts pulling it up. Um, but I have basically a y acceleration and a y velocity. Of course, those are things that you would need to declare, like up here, to have your y acceleration and your y velocity. Then your basic logic, physics, acceleration velocity is change in position. So you would say change your position by your velocity. And then acceleration is change in velocity. So you would use your acceleration, however you spell that, use your acceleration to change your velocity. Velocity changes position, acceleration changes velocity, and then you would have to say, if you're going too fast in either direction, too fast up or too fast down, because velocity would be positive or negative going on. So same kind of logic we had before, except for this one would be too fast or too fast. You can think about the positive and the negative. Then you would need to basically switch your acceleration to make it accelerate the other direction. So then it starts pulling it up or down, whichever way it wasn't doing it before. And something like that could give you kind of that, like that hovering thing. So velocity and acceleration. And if you're going too fast or too slow, then you'll turn that around. So those are just a few ideas. You could do growing, shrinking, fading in, fading out, hovering, a combination, something totally different. But you want some kind of animation to make people feel like your game is exciting. So make it awesome. Wow me with something really cool.